What's going on, guys? My name is Action Ben, back today with a brand new video. Today I'm going over a hand that myself and Dukey Bets played a couple of weeks ago on the Garage Game Live. I'm going to be doing a couple more of these videos where I am sort of breaking down hands that I played, hoping to get some interaction from you guys, some feedback, whether or not you think I played the hand well. Maybe you think I played the hand like crap. Um, Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And once we see all of this pre-flop action, I will bring us over to the charts. So as you can see, Dukey opened to 15. I 3-bet to $50. He made it 150, and then I made the call. We are playing 255 with a big blind ante. However, I was sort of plugging some of this into the wizard over here, and the ante made things a little bit janky. We're also playing way more than 200 big blinds deep, I believe. Actually, I think I might be playing 200 big blinds deep. I am, so this is actually pretty right. I'm playing 200 big blinds deep. I'm the effective stack, so this is pretty accurate. So let's see first off how well we've played this hand so far. So pocket nines, actually this deep actually just wants to call 65% of the time. So our first mistake is gonna be we could just flat the nines. Obviously that leaves us less playability post flop. We aren't the 3-better anymore. We aren't the aggressor. We don't get to have as much navigation when we flat. We are much more capped to hands like this. So I think 3-betting is perfectly fine in this scenario, especially against an aggressive player like Dukey. When it gets back to him, we're going to see just about what his range will be as a 4-better. So everything in the green here is just going to be a call for those of you that haven't used Wizard before. The blue is going to be hands that he opened and is now going to fold. And then the orange is going to be hands that he is going to 4-bet. So you have the obvious, the aces and the kings. The queens actually do a lot of flatting. The jacks and the tens are going to do a lot of flatting. All of the pocket pairs essentially are going to be flatting here. We're going to see folds from some suited aces and kings, as well as some queens. We're going to start to see folds from the offsuit aces, which is interesting. The offsuit ace king wants to put in a call a lot of the time, being out of position, but it is sometimes going to put in a 4-bet. But his range is actually going to be really, really tight around these top level hands. And what I end up doing in this hand, I think will reflect exactly what I put his range on. So let's move on to the flop. The flop comes out ace, queen, 3, 2 clubs. And as expected in a 4-bet pot, we're going to see Dukey put in a bet of about 1/4 pot. This is pretty standard with everything I would expect him to do. And I'm going to put in a call with basically every single hand I have. If I've gotten this far in a 4-bet pot, there's not really a reason for me to fold on any flop. We can get into stuff like that at a different point, but that's basically how I am navigating through 4-bet pots. You can't really fold to the 1/4 size bet unless you are so enormously dead somehow. Like you have pocket fives, no club on ace, king, queen, all clubs, like something crazy like that. But anyways, this is where I've arrived in this 4-bet pot. I've arrived with a hand that probably doesn't need to be in 4-bet pots, and that's where we are. So that's where we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call. We're going to see a turn. We're going to evaluate what goes on. Just had to bring you guys away from the video for one quick second. You guessed it, I partnered with Ace Games for this video. Shout out to them. If you guys would like, scan the QR code that's going to pop up right here for free, $10 on the Ace Games website. You can also see them in my description and in the pinned comment below. All you have to do to sign up is scan the QR code. You get a free $10. That's it. Easy peasy. Go do that right now. Tell them you came from my channel. It will mean a lot. I appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. So looking at Dukey's range here when the flop comes out ace, queen, 3, it's going to comprise of a lot of bets. His strong ace X's are obviously going to be betting most of the time. Some of his weak ace X's that have showdown value are going to mix in some checks. And then hands that just do not interact with the ace at all. Hands like kings, hands like jacks, hands like tens are going to be betting. Obviously, hands with a club in them are going to be betting at some more frequency as they don't hate getting called as much. And then some of these bluff hands that are still in here with some clubs in them are obviously going to want to bet a little bit more. But it seems like you just want to keep betting when you're the 4-better. That is sort of what I gather for the most part is you're going to want to be betting as the 4-better. Giving up is not really an option just quite yet. So Dukey puts the call, and we see the deuce of hearts. Now Dukey's going to check it over to me, and you can see the wheels immediately start turning in my head. Dukey's a good friend of mine, and I have played a lot of hands with him. I feel like I know how he plays pretty well. Not to say I can beat him. I definitely do not. He beats me all the time. But I do feel a little bit more comfortable when he puts the check down. Now, does that mean I think I'm ahead? No, I don't think so. On an ace queen 3 double flush draw board, I think Dukey would be betting with a lot of hands. I think Dukey would be betting with any hand containing an ace in it. I think he would be betting with any hand containing 2 clubs in it. I think he would be betting with any hand containing 2 hearts in it. I think he might even continue betting some ace 4, some ace 5, which he might be supposed to slow down on just because he's picked up additional wheel draws. He's also, of course, going to keep betting his sets, his 2 pairs, when I have shown some pretty strong actions in this hand. You know, I was the 3-better, I called the 4-bet, I called the C-bet. I probably have a pretty decent hand. You know, when I call a C-bet on an ace-queen high board, it's likely that I've connected with this in some sort of way. It's likely I have a couple clubs maybe, or some backdoor hearts, or a good straight draw, like King-Jack, or King-10, or Jack-10. Now, the issue for him is he blocks a lot of that. So Dukey has the king of clubs in his hand, making it less likely that I have the nut club draw. He also blocks King 10 and King Jack for straight draws. He also doesn't interact with the backdoor hearts, which isn't great for him as well. I think at this point, I know I don't have the best hand. Because if I had the best hand, Dukey would still be betting, trying to bluff me off it. So we sort of get to categorize his range into 2 pretty wide, pretty polar things, as people would say. His absolute best hands would still be betting. His absolute worst hands would still be betting. If he has something like 6-7 suited, if he has, you know, clubs or hearts that both have equity, some like low clubs, some low hearts. If he's trying to turn a hand like pocket 5s into a bluff. If he's trying to turn a hand like pocket 7s into a bluff. So now, when he checks this over to me and we're in position, we get to fire 2 streets of aggression as a bluff. Now, what are we trying to get fold? We're not really trying to get ace-x to fold. We're obviously not trying to get pocket queens to fold, you know, a set, aces or queens. But what can we get to fold? Well, we can get hands with a lot of equity against us to fold. We can get hands like straight draws to fold, like King 10, King Jack. Both of those hands, King Jack or King 10, could have up to 10 outs to beat us on the river. Also, they can make our life very miserable on the river should it come any of those cards. King, Jack, 10, any of those cards get very scary on the river for me. So if he has any of these hands, I think he's going to keep betting. If he has no equity versus us, he's going to keep betting. If he has very strong hand versus us, he's going to keep betting. Why does he slow down? He has showdown value. He has hands like 10s. He has hands like jacks. He has a weak queen X, maybe even a weak ace X. I know I said he'd probably keep betting a weak ace X, but I've been playing pretty tight. The chances of me 3-betting and calling an ace high flop, pretty decent chance I have an ace. Now in this spot, he's going to be checking a lot of his hands. He wants to get to showdown with obviously his weak ace X's. He wants to get to showdown with hands like jacks, with hands like 10s. Even hands like kings are putting in a check here, which props to him, he checked correctly, obviously. It's not an easy spot to be in when you have hands like kings here on an ace high board. Even if you have a club, like it still sucks. Like you're not gonna hit your flush anymore. The deuce of hearts just rolled off. Like I said, hands like 7s are gonna want to put in a bet sometimes. Now, I wasn't completely correct when I said the first time that I thought that he would be firing all the time with this, but again, this is a solver. This isn't what he's going to do. I perceive his bluffing range to have a lot of hands like this in it. I think all of these hands, for him, are going to be putting in bluffs. As you can see, some hands like 6-5 that don't have hearts or clubs are going to be bluffing. Obviously, pretty good hands to bluff with for other reasons we can talk about later. But I think all of these types of hands for him would still be putting in another bet. It's these strong hands that really don't have much going for them on this board. They've seen 2 overs. They've seen a double flush draw. They're just about done with the hand. Somebody's called their 4-bet and their C-bet. They're ready to be done. They're ready to get to showdown with jacks and 10s. They're giving up. As you can see, even these ace-x hands, not giving up, of course, they have top pair, what am I saying? But they're ready to be done. They're ready for this to get to showdown. They're ready to show down their weak ace. Now, what am I going to do now? I'm going to fire out for 200, which is about half pot. What does GTO say I should do? Well, it says I should bet 50 with pocket 9s. It wants me to start turning 9s into a bluff. Now, 50 here is 200 because, you know, we're 108 big blinds in the pot. 50 is about half pot. What did I bet? 200 into 400? Seems pretty good to me. I don't often play hands like this well. If you think I'm playing this well, I could be playing this terrible. But yeah, so it wants me to start turning these hands into a bluff because they don't have showdown value anymore. A lot of people think, oh, I have a pocket pair, the board's pretty high, you know, it's time to just get this to showdown. But we're in a 4-bet pot. Both of us have very, very strong ranges. And I can have all of these strong ace-x here. I can have aces. I don't always have to 5-bet aces, especially when we're as shallow as we're only 200 bigs deep. Aces don't want to just pile in money when people could be 4-bet bluffing with ace-5 and be literally almost dead. Ace-king could be in here. I don't always have to 5-bet ace-king. We could have some other weak ace-x, some suited ace-x that are going to be, it looks like checking. Because why? They have showdown value. All of these hands that have showdown value are going to find the green. As you can see, the Jack-10 suiteds that have a flush draw. They have a lot of equity. They don't want to get blown off their equity. They're going to be checking back. However, all of these small pocket pairs are going to be firing a bet. Looks like 10s are sort of the cutoff. 10s, although 10s that have blockers to flushes want to put in a bet. 10s with the heart and the club want to put in a bet. Good thing I have 9s because it's time for us to start betting. I think in this spot, it's really fun to turn underpairs into a bluff. I've obviously seen some very good players do this. Dukey himself, I've watched do this on stream. I've commentated it. And I think over 2 streets, I can definitely get him to fold some of these non-nutted hands. Like, is he going to fold ace-king? Probably not. Is he going to fold 2-pair? Probably not. Is he going to fold ace-jack or ace-10 to me? Probably not. But when he starts thinking about these wheel aces, he's going to probably start folding these wheel aces. So what happens when we do bet half? What is he folding? He's folding a lot of hands. Kings here is a fold. 90% of the time it's a fold. Except for some reason when you have the king of clubs and the king of spades. For whatever reason. GTO does stuff, okay? And it's just going to fold out all of his hands better than us. Jacks, pure fold. Queen Jack does put in the call. Interestingly enough, I didn't think that was going to be a call. The wheel aces are actually supposed to put in a call here. And these hands, you would obviously just never fold to me. But we, like I said, we start to get him off hands that have a lot of equity against us. King 10, obviously not the ones with the suits. He's never folding those. But the ones that just have 10 outs against us are going to start getting folded. The King 10s and the King Jacks, which is very good. Sorry. In this hand, Dukey is going to see my $200 bet. And he's going to correctly fold kings face up. Correct for the solver, incorrect for the spot in game. I'm going to show the 9s pretty quickly. Pretty happy with myself to get a bluff through on my friend. It's not every day I get to do this. I don't even call him down right usually, but I thought this was one of the better hands that I'd played. Just out of curiosity, obviously we don't get to see the river. If he does call, let's say the river is a complete blank. Let's say it is the 6 of diamonds. And he checks to me. Obviously, we're just going to have to be all in, stack size-wise. 9's going to be putting all the money in, and it's a bluff. It's absolutely a bluff. What's he going to be calling with here? He's getting close to folding these wheel aces, right? He's not calling with the ace-jack, the ace-10. He's folding all the queen X, except king-queen. He likes to call with king-queen. Couldn't tell you why. Apologies, but GTO Wizard says it. Kings is going to be making the fold. Queen Jack is going to be making the fold. We can get him off some of these worse ace-X's that he might have. And then obviously we're getting snapped off by some of the best hands of all time, aces and ace-king. But I think this goes to show that you don't always have to take your small pairs to showdown. I think a lot of people are just used to, I got through a street of aggression. He's checking it to me. I'll check it back. Hopefully we get to a cheap river. Hopefully he's bluffing. But on this type of board, there's not a lot of bluffs. It's time to start bluffing ourselves. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Is this a punt? Is this the right play? It seems like the solver thinks it's okay. Whether or not I had this set up completely correctly or not exactly sure. But it seems like it was okay. If you guys did enjoy this type of video, please let me know in the comments below. If you didn't enjoy this type of video, send me a DM and call me terrible things. If I played this well, drop a comment saying you played this awesome. If I played this poorly, drop a comment saying Dukey Bets is way better at poker than you. If you're Dukey Bets, don't comment that. It cancels it out. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are looking forward to my next one. Peace out.